This is April, your 2012 Rat Rock Girl with 95.9 The Rat, and I am here with Lewis from 10 Years. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm fresh out of the bed, as you can see, but excited to be here.
Long night?
A very long night and into the day, so.
Sounds like fun, though.
It's fun, but then when it gets late like that, it becomes work, and then it makes the next day even worse. So, you know, that's why you have to just kind of like keep going and power through it. So you'll probably see me with a beer in my hand in a couple of hours.
Got to keep it going. So tell me a little bit about this tour. You guys have been on the road for about 2 weeks right now.
Yeah, we basically just finished a new record that we did on our own called Minus the Machine. So we've been at home for like 6 months, and this is kind of the test to get out there and play some of this new stuff and see how the crowd responds to it, and it's been amazing. And I've had an opportunity to play the record for a lot of people that haven't heard it, because, you know, for us, we've heard it a million times. It's kind of like, after a while, you don't know if it's good or not anymore. You're just kind of sick of hearing it, but it's nice to get fresh ears on it and see the response. And I just couldn't be any more proud of it, because we self-produced it. We released it through our own record label. So it was a breath of fresh air from being on, you know, Universal, which is about as big as it gets when it comes to labels. So they kind of, you know, it's hard to be an artist on such a large label when they want you to kind of go in and just sound like everybody else or whatever might be selling at the time. So we pretty much did the opposite of that. So I think this record could sell 5 copies or 5 million, but either way, I'm happy because I know it was truly us.
Now, what would you say the difference is between what Universal was having you put out and what you guys have done on your own?
I don't think that we always hate the word single, and that gets tossed around when you're in a major label system just constantly. You know, there'll be like, we need a hard rock song, we need a ballad, and just, that is like, there's nothing more stifling when it comes to trying to be creative than having someone tell you what kind of song to write. So for us this time, we're like, we're going to write an album. And if there are songs that just so happen to be able to be played on the radio, then that's cool. But we're not going to go into this with a mindset of that we're going to write singles. We're just going to write great songs, cool songs, and songs with depth. And so I think we really were able to achieve that this time.
So when you guys are, you know, doing a music video for a song, you don't really think of it as a single. It's just kind of whatever song people are responding to. Is that what the process is? For
sure. Like the first song that we were going to release, we all wanted to release Backlash, which we did, but there was another track that was on there that, you know, it was a typical thing of like what we would have released. It would have probably sounded better on radio amongst everything else that's played on radio, but it just was like the safe thing to do, and we really didn't want to do that. And I think Backlash is a really interesting track. And it definitely stands out amongst other things that are on the radio. So that's cool. That's what we wanted to do. I mean, I think people are scared to take risks. And if you look at bands like System of a Down or even Limp Bizkit for its time, they did something completely different, and they ended up playing arenas. You know, I don't expect that same kind of thing to happen with us. Of course, it would always be cool. You never want to not become successful. We're definitely not one of those bands that's like, oh, it's too cool to be playing large venues and selling out. I mean, dude. Who doesn't have that same dream? But you know, we're just wanting to do something a little different than what we've normally done.
Now, Minus the Machine is the name of the album. Is that a nod towards this big change?
Yes, 100%.
Awesome. And I think the industry is really changing in that people can do that, artists can do that and come out and do their own thing. Now, this label, Palehorse, it's called. And you guys are working with Warner Music Group on this. How does that work? Because a lot of people don't understand how that goes. Right.
We basically are using their staff and distribution just to get the albums out. But as far as the decision-making and stuff goes, we have 100% control over that. And we get to share in the profits of the album sales, which I've never seen a check from Universal in my life. So this will be nice, too. But yeah, it's basically just we're using their staff to like help, you know, work singles to radio and market and that kind of stuff. So
cool. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that on these major labels, you're not seeing a whole lot of money from the album sales.
No, never. I mean, we get a record in advance, and then I never saw a penny. And it's pretty much designed that way that, I mean, even if you sell millions of albums, you'll still like never recoup. They'll just keep spending more money, and you just stay in the hole. So, you know, and most bands in the past, never really worried about that because we really primarily make our money through touring and merch and publishing and that other kind of stuff. But it will be nice to actually see money from album sales too. And like you said, like a lot of bands are making this change and going out and doing it on their own, whether they're even putting their records out for free like Radiohead or Nine Inch Nails, or just doing it on their own so they can retain that creative edge that they once had before they were signed. Because I know that when we did our our very first record, we had they say you have your whole life to write that record, and we were able to have freedom with that album. And it was just after we had released that, in the second album and the third album that went around, there was a lot of input from other people because they want you to be as successful as the last record, or they have bands that are have a certain sound right now in rock that are selling a lot, and they'll literally be like, we want you to write a track like this. And what it's like, have you heard our band before? Like, what happened to the way it used to be? So yeah, it's a weird world we live in, this music business.
And I really think that when you're an artist and you're basically putting out music that isn't you, your audience can tell. Sure,
yeah. Your audience isn't dumb. And like when we released Beautiful off of Division first, I think it's a great song, but did we want to release it first? Like, no, it's not a representation of that album as a whole or who we are as a band live. Where people were coming out, and there was a lot of pretty girls like yourself that would come out and kind of get tossed around because they're like, God, I just heard Beautiful and I thought this was like, a soft rock band, and then we're so far from that, and especially in our live show that people were like, had their hair blown off and were a little confused, and we didn't want that to happen. So that's why we released Shoot It Out first off of Feeding the Wolves, because we wanted to reestablish that we are a rock band, and because it kind of got destroyed on Division. I sound like I'm bitching the whole time. Like, I've been very blessed and fortunate to be to have an opportunity with Universal, because we would not be here without them and their assistance and financial backing and everything they did along the way. So I am fortunate of everything. It's just nice to be able to do what we want to do without any boundaries again. So that's where my excitement is now, is within Palehorse and this album.
Well, absolutely. You have to be able to move on to do what's best for you as a band and really get your vision out there. And listening to your lyrics, you guys are very, very deep, which you don't hear a lot of on the radio anymore.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about. People always ask me to do interviews, are like, so what's this song about? I'm like, I have no clue. Sometimes I'll ask him, and the meetings are really cool. But a lot of times with Jesse, he's kind of a private dude. He likes to leave things up for people's interpretation so they can apply it to their lives and not just like what it may be about to him. And so that's pretty much his mode of attack with that, because I think that he wasn't really prepared when we released Wasteland, and when that song became so big. That song was very, very personal to him, and it was about his cousin, his younger cousin, Brad Renfro, who he ended up losing to drugs, and what that song was about. So it's hard to talk about something like that over and over and over again, as many interviews and as many fans that you meet and will want to know what it means. I think sometimes he was like, damn it, I wish I had not have done that. But, at the end of the day, that song, I've had people come up to me and be like, man, I was going to kill myself, and I heard that song and it changed my life, and that, you're never really prepared for that kind of thing. So it's really cool.
And it's crazy because you start playing the songs every night and you almost lose, it becomes very...
Sure. It becomes, you've just done it so many times, and it does become kind of, not in a job in a sense, because we definitely don't get up there and fake it. But you have played that song a billion times, and it's like the last thing I would ever listen to. But it really comes to life, and it's cool for us to play live because we get to see that crowd reaction, because people do, have their favorite songs on the record. So everyone has got a special place for me to play live. But that song especially, because it was so popular, and people go crazy when they hear that one. So it's cool. It's still cool to play.
And how have people been reacting to all of your new stuff that you've been touring?
They love it. We used to in the past, we were like, especially when the record's not even out, only play like maybe 1 or 2 songs. But we're playing 4, and people are coming up and going, man, that's my favorite part of the set. And that's a kind of like, I know that if the Deftones or Metallica or something like that, or one of my favorite bands, was coming out with a new record, I would love to hear them play like pretty much that entire record, because I want to see what the hell they're up to. I remember it was so cool. The Deftones did it in Dallas, like before their album was out. They got up and they played like the first 10 songs off the album. And I was like, that's so ballsy to do because people want to hear fucking Change and, you know, all the other normal stuff. But they got up there and played the whole record, and it was, I mean, I was blown away. I thought it was amazing. And so we kind of like wanted to take that approach, like, screw it, let's just play some new stuff and see how people react to it.
Absolutely, and that's the best way, I think, to get the music in their ears. And yeah, you know, they probably can't sing along to it yet, but they'll get there, and it'll get them interested in buying the album, which comes out when?
August 7th.
And you're playing 4 songs off of the album. How many are on this album?
We're playing 4 songs off of this new record. There's 12 songs on the album total.
Oh, very cool. So people are going to get a lot, their money's worth on this. 12 songs. That's awesome.
Yep. And we have like a deluxe issue that has like some acoustic renditions of things, and so yeah, you can get that one too. I bet. I don't know where the hell that one's at yet, but I think you can go to our website and there's like you can pre-order the record and see all the different versions of it.
Very cool. And I know you guys are from Tennessee. How does Jersey differ for you guys?
You know, so many of these places are like, they just seem like I'm in my backyard. Like if I walk out the bus and I really can't go anywhere, so it doesn't even really feel like I'm away from home. But it is definitely, the big city life is definitely different than what I'm used to, because I can get in a car and drive like 20 minutes across town or vice versa, you know, and you can't really do that in big cities, and people are definitely moving a lot faster. But I enjoy traveling and I enjoy meeting new people. I mean, anybody in my band will attest that I'm always the guy that's off the bus hanging out with the fans, and more so than I am with my own band members, because I'm with them all the time. So I'm a pretty easy guy to get along with, so I usually don't run into any trouble no matter where we go.
And it's so cool to be able to get out there and talk to your fans. Not a lot of guys in bands do that, and it's really cool that you do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate people, and like I said, we get a little sick of each other, so it's nice to mingle with other people.
Nice. And so you guys are doing this tour for about another 2-3 weeks? Yeah,
this ends I think on the 25th maybe of this month. And then we're going home for right around a month, and we'll be back out. I can't really say what we're doing next, but it's with another band, I believe, and it's going to be really cool.
Oh, so we have to keep our ears open, see what's going on. All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming and hanging out with me, and good luck with the record release. And I'm looking forward to hosting this show with you guys tonight.
Absolutely. I will see you in a little bit.
Awesome. This is April, the 2012 Rat Rock Girl, and stay tuned for more.